That's right. Who's the biggest liars? Men or women? Men lie the most. Women tell the biggest lie. Men, we lie all the time. A man's lie is like, I was at Tony's house. That's a man's lie. A woman's lie is like, it's your baby. Well, we've all heard that one.
I don't want my platform to be fake.
Why would you call her a doctor, brother? I'm not saying your platform is fake at all. I'm just saying, when somebody say Dr. Bryant, it irks me. Where's her colleagues? Where's she a doctor at? Because I've done the research.
Corey Holcomb said some things about you, about not having your degree and where you started off raw as, I guess, working in a strip club. Is any of that stuff true?
You say you're not a real doctor?
No, so I have 4 degrees. 3 are in psychology, 1's in Pan-African Studies.
If somebody is a doctor, they will be proud to show you, I'm a doctor. She can't do it. She just says it. This is a fantasy that woman is living.
My doctorate degree is in counseling psychology. My master's is in marriage, family, child therapy. All degrees are in psychology.
That lady, if her real story came out, she would be a farce, I believe. I don't think she's a doctor, and I'm putting it out there. I don't think she's a doctor. If I am, show me where you got your doctorate, and I would love to talk to some of your colleagues.
My doctorate, I transitioned to a psychology expert, life coach, so that my hands wouldn't be tied behind my back. Because when I was a therapist working for a nonprofit under a license, there's so many things that you cannot do based on ethics and law that, in my opinion, it negates and it really takes away from the real therapeutic experience.
I mean, come on. Where is the proof that you're a doctor? Can you just do that online instead of all of the glamour videos with all the makeup on and everything? Show us you're a doctor and how you became a doctor and how you practice being a doctor. You're just doing internet talk like everybody else, except you wanted to put doctor on your name.
Dead Devil Storage says she just needs to be alone. That's the only solution for her. She wants all of that plus access to the funds. Get the entire out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got real people on the internet.
Yes, have him calling. I want to know how many kids he got, what is his income, and how many times he been married. And he might be right. I might need to be alone because I'm always in a relationship because I don't seem to have an issue with getting a man or ring or anything else I want. So whoever that was, Mr. Broke Man with no tax, can you call in, bruh?
When I have a medical crisis, I want to make sure that I am doing research, that I am finding out the credentials of the top medical professionals in their field, in their space, those who have practiced for several years, those who went to top schools, who graduated top of their class, who have accolades, who have proven their record. I'm just wondering why women are so okay with accepting advice from other women who have not had a successful relationship.
The thing is that if I am intimate with the man and get pregnant, and he plans on running off with his other baby mom or making more kids or whatever he wants to do, I'm not about to be stuck with our baby and sit up in the house like a lot of women do and not tax your brown tail. And if you have a problem with it, when you see me, don't date me, don't ask me for my number, because I don't want you anyway.
Women who have failed relationships, women who can get an engagement but can't get down the aisle, for women who like to talk the talk but don't actually walk the walk. Why would you be okay with taking any advice from women just because they're really good at tearing down men, but don't actually have any understanding of what it takes to get a good man? And we know that because you're not practicing what you preach, right?
A good woman is somewhere being a good woman. That's why you don't see them in the club half naked, sweated out in the summertime. That's why you don't see them on a podcast or on TV somewhere talking about, let me tell you something. Oh, yeah. That ain't no good woman. That woman for the streets. Most of them have a history of washing up in strange people places. Most of the villains I know are women. Most of the villains I know are women. Let me tell you why men don't walk up to men and try to play each other. Because we kill each other. Man. When men disrespect each other face to face, it can turn into blank, 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 like Mike L said.
Greetings, you polite savages.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Ladies, gentlemen, and polite savages, you are now about to enter tales sure to anger feminists and struggle doctor fans alike. As always, we can only guarantee to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as we see it. And sometimes the truth is a bitter pill, but you gotta shut up and take your medicine. So there's nothing left to do but get on up into it. Are you ready? Well, let's go. If it pleases the court of public opinion, we will not only show that struggle doctor Cheyenne Bryant is not only a grifter, but the biggest internet fraud in the past 365 days.
1.
By intentionally misstating facts designed to drive women of the community, and when I say that, I mean black women, to hate black men. See, Cheyenne Bryant is called a divester, and she's doing this by conjuring fake stats out of thin air to drive this wedge that she knows is so easy to do through the community. Why? Because she understands that by telling a woman that she's never going to get what she wants is the number one way to make a woman upset. And by doing this, she is just driving more women to her side. And her side is not the side you think it is, but we'll get to that a little later. But you ladies are falling for the scam. Hook, line, and sinker. She's just a female version of Derek Jackson.
Not a day goes by without black men getting lied on by black women.
Black men do not want to marry. It says 90%, and you can talk about facts, but I'm going to give you stats, Willie. 90% of black men would never marry. 30% of black women would never be married and have to marry outside their race if they want to get married in general. Family.
What says that, ma'am? What says that 90% of black men will never marry?
Always beware when somebody comes citing stats that are uncited that she won't even say where she got the stats from. What she's doing is she's having an argument from authority. Because she's a so-called doctor, she's saying something with her chest, full-flooded, a lie, knowing that the sisterhood will believe her. That's the only game here. And that's why her pseudoscience and pseudo-facts are so easily destroyed with one simple search.
90%. She said, it says. What says? It. What stats? I got the stats. The statement that 90% of black men will never marry is not accurate. Marriage rates for black adults. According to Pew Research, 36% of black men are married compared with 29% of black women. The marriage rates for black men. Pew Research Center reports that 55% of black men are unpartnered. Marriage rates for black women are 3 times as likely as white women to never marry.
What did he say?
So basically, the good doctor just jumped on a national internet forum with 1 million people watching it and just lied wholeheartedly, full frontal, full-throated, lied on black men in the United States of America, citing things that she had no accountable resources for. And this is a doctor, a scientist, someone who does their homework.
Okay.
2.
One of the most horrible things a so-called doctor can do is diagnose somebody live on the air with millions of people watching without actually examining them. This is not only a violation of HIPAA and privacy, but also an ethical violation as well. And make no mistake, the only reason why this person is on any platform is simple. She has a doctor in front of her name and she's acquired fame from a whirlwind tour of social media. She is trading on her credentials and putting her personal opinion and dislike of somebody and framing it as a professional diagnosis. And this is evident because she said she wanted to have an off-camera counseling session with him. Even though she's not licensed to have such session, she is just a life coach. And a life coach is someone that can help you maximize your life potential, but not diagnose any issues. She is not licensed or qualified to do so. But the crux of the whole situation is the only reason why anybody pays attention to her is because she calls herself a doctor. But this doctor would never diagnose somebody live on the air without examining them. And she said herself, she only met this gentleman 10 years before for a short stint on a podcast. So how can she know based on his looks that he is unkempt and unclean? Because he looked disheveled, because what he was wearing, that doesn't mean unclean, ma'am. You can't smell him through the camera. He may have looked a little scruffy, but you don't know if he would had to take a flight all night to get there. Because basically you're using your professional opinion to inject your dislike of a person. But every real therapist I know would say, in my personal opinion, blah, blah, blah. But my professional opinion is this.
He's an alcoholic. He drinks a lot. You know, he's overcompensating in those areas. Those are places he needs help with. Did you guys see what he looked like on Cam Newton interview? I'm not talking about looks meaning attractiveness.
Yeah.
Do you see how unwell, hygienically clean he looks?
And we will show the court that the so-called struggle Dr. Bryant met Corey Holcomb once, 10 years ago, on a podcast, and the first thing that she thought was that he was inferior to white men.
Where this Corey Holcomb thing comes from is I was on a show 10 years ago when I think it was before I even had my doctorate degree. And Corey is used to being able to be very disrespectful to women and do his thing.
You was on the show with him or was just?
He was a guest on the show. I was co-hosting.
Okay.
He was a guest. And I drilled his ass, to be honest. It's on YouTube. People could, look at it. And I cut into him and I said, you seem like you are inferior to white men.
You use shame as a tactic to get your way, you may be low value. If you're often insulting to get your way, or to shut people up or shut people down, you may be low value. You know the next one? The incessant need to be right.
And this is the lady preaching to black women that, of course, black men won't marry them at a 90% clip, even though those facts are wrong. What else is she wrong about? You see, when you cut the grass, the snakes will show, and frauds are frauds. And this fraudulent lady talks herself into a circle, first saying that their only encounter was 10 years ago, before she was even a doctor, and then later on saying that he's an alcoholic. In conversations with therapists, one of the most important things that they tell you is that every diagnosis will be confidential. So how is this lady allowed to do this? Well, it's quite simple. She's allowed to do it for one reason. She doesn't have a license. Self-admittedly, as we will show you now.
When I got my doctorate, I transitioned to a psychology expert, life coach, so that my hands wouldn't be tied behind my back. Because when I was a therapist working for a nonprofit under a license, the protocol, just with the BBS law, and you're very familiar with like mental health and therapy, there's so many things that you cannot do based on ethics and law that, in my opinion, it negates and it really takes away from the real therapeutic experience.
Notice how she said when she was working for a nonprofit, she was working under a license, not that she was licensed. And you will never see Dr. Cheyenne Bryant admit that she took the licensing procedure, because it takes multiple thousands of hours of working in a clinical environment under a doctor who's licensed. And then you have to get licensed yourself after passing an exam. And passing those exams are very difficult. But we all know that she's not licensed, because even she admitted that licensing puts ethical boundaries on her that she could not do, that she thinks that she has judged is counteractive to the therapeutic environment. So I want you to take time and listen to what she said. She thinks that laws are counteractive to the therapeutic environment, and this is who you take advice from.
Are you for real?
Because in a topsy-turvy world, the cats fly backwards, and Tasha K and Corey Holcomb actually agree on something. Damn.
So Cam Newton was best friends with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's girlfriend. And so, like I said, Cheyenne's been trying to get into this relationship space, and it hasn't been clicking. So she needed the perfect subject matter. So her girlfriend, and I'm talking about her girlfriend, yes. Cam booked her based off of his relationship with her girlfriend. Did not expect for Dr. Cheyenne, after he gave her the platform, to turn around and try to diss him on his own platform. And his friend, which is her ex-girlfriend, are no longer friends. The whole bunch just broke up. So the girlfriend's no longer with Dr. Cheyenne. You know what I'm saying? Because she was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you're ruining my relationship that I have. This is a business relationship. But she literally just stepped on everybody's back and just made her presence known and was like, I'm here, deal with it. If I gotta lose some pussy. But she's really trying to save women from men so that women will now come to the other side. And
Thank you for watching the Tip Network. Follow us on all social media outlets and ask yourself one burning question. Can you handle the tip? Boom, we're out.
We found true happiness.